backfield. Can they do it again? Yes, they can!
And the catch is made by Taj Washington. Touchdown, USC.
Blocked by Embiid. Timmy, yes!
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Beef Up Front podcast here on Pick Swap Media. As always, this is your host Ryan Coyle, back with episode 2 of our Anthony Richardson breakdown as part of the Breakdowns with Beef quarterback series as we head into the NFL draft. The draft is a week away now. We're right around the corner. It's right there, and Anthony Richardson continues to be one of the more polarizing prospects in this draft. It sounds like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are going to go 1-2, and a combination of Richardson, Hendon Hooker, and Will Levis are going to be that third guy. All the talent in the world, but as you can see here, even at the top of the screen, not the greatest game in this one. We're going to be breaking down his game versus Kentucky. This is Anthony Richardson, like I said, 6'4", 232-pound quarterback out of Florida. In this game against Kentucky, a 26-16 loss, Richardson only goes 14 of 35, 143 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which were really bad, 6 rushes for only 4 yards. So after the first episode of the series, which was the Utah game, where still not the greatest statistical numbers, you saw a lot more flashes and the talent. And you still see that in this one. You see why he's regarded as a top prospect and how talented he is, but also shows a lot in this one of just how far away he is, I think, from being a full-time, really good starting quarterback in the NFL. And he flashes a lot of potential to be a good player, but he also has got a lot of stuff to work on, and you see that throughout this game as well. So we'll get right into it here. This is, like I said, against Kentucky, coming off a big win week 1 against Utah. They got a home game against Kentucky here, another ranked team, and this was an anticipated quarterback matchup between him and Levis, and Kentucky ultimately comes out on this one 26-16, but we'll break down every throw and every run from Anthony Richardson in this game. Starts it off. Great slant right there. A little bit behind the receiver, but he shows off his arm talent. He shows off the zip that he brings on all his passes right off the bat. Bit of an overthrow there. Not sure exactly what the route was on that one, but it looks like he kind of had like inside leverage on him, where if that's like a post or something, he's able to lead him out more towards the middle of the field there, towards the hash. That could be a touchdown because he's got a step on him. Just a not real great timing, I guess, on this overthrow here. Overthrows him a little bit. Kind of a broken play there from the start. Just throw it away. Don't try to force. The game against Utah, he had something similar to that where he did roll out and he tried to force it into like triple coverage. That one just wisely, live for another down. Let's go to 3rd and 10 and not risk turning it over there. So a bit of a sign of progression from the first game. When he misses high most of the time, and he really likes throwing up the seam, as we saw there, and he does that. We're also going to be breaking down his Georgia game, but he likes throwing up the seam, but it's something that he has to work on. He's not that great in terms of accuracy there right now, but when he misses, all his misses are going to be high. Another ball up the seam there. I like that kind of placement of it because if he throws that too high and his receiver continues to run, that safety's got a beeline on him. He might take him out. This is a well-placed ball, protect your receiver and let's pick up a big game, but really likes to hit the seams there. And you see the zip and the arm talent that he brings with his skill set. I like this fade ball. It's an incomplete pass, but I think that's more so the receiver's fault. That is a pretty good ball there. And one of the few that we kind of see from Anthony Richardson where he kind of changes it up because as we talked about in the Utah game, everything is usually like 100 miles per hour. He has a few nice kind of touch passes in this one, so a little bit more progression. As we said, 14 of 35, obviously not ideal, but you watch the game up close, a lot of these incompletions aren't his fault. This is a pretty good ball, only where the receiver can get it. He's just not able to get the separation. You're throwing to a top-flight NFL receiver. There's rumors he might be on like Seattle. If that's a Tyler Lockett, a DK Metcalf, I think he's coming down with that ball. Another really nice throw there on the move. If you're able to, roll the pocket with him and get him out on the run, he's shown the ability to be a very accurate quarterback that way. Certainly much better at that stage of his game, at this stage of his career than just being a pure pocket passer. But nice ball there on the run. Let's move the chains again. So the one where, it's a bit high, 1,000,000 miles per hour. It's tight end. It looks like he's unable to bring that in. Put some more touch on that ball. Another one where is that really his fault? I know that's a pretty hard pass that he threw in terms of velocity and speed on that one, but is that really his fault? It hits the receiver in the hands. He should be able to come down with that one. I don't think that's an incompletion that's really reflective of Anthony Richardson. Another miss where overthrown and high. Got to come down with it. That's a really nice ball there. Shows the ability to hit a pass on an out route on that far hash. That technically counts as a pass there, even though it's a little shovel. Another one where you're going to see it, I think, from the back angle here. It's just one of those things where I don't think the receiver was ready coming out of his break. Yeah, you're going to see it from the back angle here. So this is, I think, the biggest thing Anthony Richardson has to work on as he prepares to be at the next level. He's going to be playing with better players, better receivers, but everything, like I said, 100 miles per hour, 9 times out of 10, he's throwing just a straight BB to you. And when receivers are, coming out of their break, and if they're not ready for it, which they should be, that is their job. But if they're not ready, all the receiver has to do is flash his hands up or hits a shoulder pad, a deflection, the ball's up in the air, and it could be an interception. If he's able to kind of work in some more touch, and a lot of those misses, as I said, are high. If he's able to get it more down around the chest area, that kind of prevents the belly button somewhere in that range. That prevents those deflections and the ball going up in the air and potential turnovers. You'll watch it here. The receiver coming out of the break doesn't look like he's fully ready, but slips a bit too. I mean, that ball is right there. That should be a catch, and that's just another incompletion. It's just this Florida team's not very good around Richardson, and another high miss there over the middle. Loves to throw it over the middle, but it certainly needs to work on the accuracy there. I talked about it a lot in the Utah game. I don't think the talent around Richardson and the scheme either really does him much wonders. So much, that's an inaccurate pass, but that play's going nowhere even if it is accurate. Very bad interception there. That's one of those things where, all right, the defensive end reads this perfectly. I think they ran the same kind of play in the week 1 game against Utah, where we're going to kind of just roll the pocket and get our athlete out in the flat here. Defender reads it perfectly. Richardson doesn't see him, and there's an interception. Just showing a little bit of, I guess, lack of maturity in terms of reading the defenses out on the field right now. Something that he needs to continue to work on. Pressured there leads to another poor pass incompletion. Just so much lateral offensive plays in this scheme with guys that aren't really playmakers at this SEC level, I think. That's a great ball, though. Shows great zip, ability to layer it into a tight window, and let's move the chains again. The guy's a pretty solid receiver, but he's going to be working with much better talent at the next level. But, yeah, love the back angle here. Was able to read this defender, number 5. He's going to take the flat. Oh, goes right over his head, though. Good completion there again. Terrible, terrible play here. Obvious, miscommunication. It looks like this receiver is getting ready to block. I don't know if he thought it was like a QB power or something because there's no one in the backfield. But he's just running straight. Richardson thinks he's running a curl, and it looks like he's either going a block or he's running just a straight fade down the field. This corner reads it perfectly, jumps it, and this is going back to the crib for 6. That's just a can-happen type play. Mistakes are going to happen, but it doesn't get much easier for a defender on a pick 6 for that. All they have to do is make Richardson miss, and kind of a poor effort on the tackle there by the quarterback as well. But another sign of growth that he needs in his game, just, communication, I guess, with his guys. And that's just going to come with reps and just maturity on the field over time. But it's a 16-16 game. They're driving, and that pick 6 kind of flips the fortune Florida doesn't score again the rest of the game, and Kentucky is able to get another field goal. But you see another view of it here. It looks like he's like getting ready to block. He's not even looking for the ball. Richardson releases it on the curl. That's what he thought it was, at least, and pick six the other way. Certainly something that you don't like to see out of the quarterback. Or a 1 yard gain there, but I do like that, just the ability to, all right, I'm not going to force. I just made a bad mistake. Let me just take what the defense gives me. Hope my guy can get a few yards and we can move the chains potentially in a few downs. Or play maybe just a little bit too much zip on that one. Sound pretty redundant, but a lot of it's the same thing. He just needs some more reps and work on his timing and feeling it out, feeling out the quarterback position, the ability to just work different layers of the field, use all that arm talent and zip, but only use it really when you need it, and be able to have some touch on your other passes, or you're going to have more interceptions, more completions. Receiver there, unable to get a slant or unable to get separation on the slant there. 4th and 3 leads to another incompletion. More plays just going laterally. I mean, this guy, number 3, has gotten about 4 catches behind the line of scrimmage and has maybe 10 total yards off of them. 4th and 6, we'll move the pocket here. Low, away, inaccurate. Poor ball there by Richardson. Definitely one of his worst games of the season. Another, almost would be interception right there. So kind of what I was saying in the Utah game, you look at that Utah game, certainly has some inconsistencies and some flaws, but he flashed a lot of wow plays and a lot of things that would make a coach or a GM go, I can work with this guy. We can build around this guy. He can be our quarterback going forward, and a lot of encouraging signs. Then you get to this game, you're more so like, who am I watching and what guy am I going to get? And that's the risk and the gamble with taking a guy like Anthony Richardson. He's going to be so great in some moments, and he's going to make you scratch your head and want to scream at him and curse at him the next second. It's just, you have to kind of balance that out and see, does the risk outweigh the reward and vice versa? And that's the tough decision, but that's why these, GMs and these coaches get paid all this money to make these decisions. And I'm really interested to see where he winds up going. And I think with him, it's all going to be about the fit, the team around him, because that's really what it is about a lot of the quarterbacks. But he's got all the talent in the world to succeed, just needs to work on some things for sure. And it seems like he's a good kid and a hard worker, that he's going to, if he gets put in a good situation, he's going to be able to work through those inconsistencies and improve his game. I really like some of his flashes that we've seen from him, especially considering the poor players, I think, around him and the poor offensive play calling. I don't think, like I've said a few times, that really does him much justice. But yeah, pretty, deflating game here. I tried to pick like the 3 biggest marquee matchups for each of these quarterbacks and breaking them down from the season. I mean, that right there, I know it's an incomplete Hail Mary, but that just shows that arm talent, kind of throwing it all the way down the field, getting into the end zone. But, I tried to pick, I didn't want to just show all the great clips. I think it was important to show that Anthony Richardson does have a lot of flaws and does need a lot of work. But still, at times, you saw the quarterback that he can be. Kentucky did a great job of this one, of taking away the quarterback run game as well. I think that's going to be a big part of Anthony Richardson, at least early in his career. But his athleticism is what really sticks out, and it's going to make him a top-notch quarterback prospect, or a top-notch quarterback in the NFL eventually, if he's able to tap into all these other things, these other gifts that he has. But that'll do it for Anthony Richardson. The Kentucky game, I think I gave him like a 5 out of 10, probably the worst grade out of any of the quarterbacks we've gone through so far. Yeah, 5 out of 10 in this one. Just a summary. Arm talent is insane, but needs serious work on touch accuracy, especially over the middle. We saw him miss high and away on those seam throws a lot. Was neutralized in the running game, combined with poor passing numbers, essentially kind of like a non-factor in this one. But you see the tools and the talent. It's just, can you help him and can you work with him and make him the type of player that he could potentially be? That's the biggest question with him right now. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will have one more episode where he plays Georgia, a much more encouraging game. But we're going to also try and squeeze in some Hendon Hooker and some Will Levis episodes before the draft. If not, those might come out a little bit after the draft. But if you're, a fan of those teams that those players eventually get selected by, you can tune into these and see what kind of quarterback you're getting. So as always, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and we'll talk soon.